They could be your coworkers, friends, or even family members. I'm talking about transgender people living in the valley.
And it turns out there are many people who identify as trans living here and all over Virginia. And for them, life is about being who you really are. But as I found out, that doesn't come without its challenges. Here's a story you'll only see on WHSV.
We're just trying to be comfortable in our own skin, is really what it is.
Eli Grossman shares what many transgender people have in common. He's a 24-year-old transgender man living in Blacksburg.
It's like I was a very timid, anxious person before I transitioned, and I never thought I would be as happy as I am today.
A few years ago, after living his life as a woman since birth, Eli decided to make a big change and begin the transition from woman to man.
A lot of people only talk about it in before and after, and there's this really long, awkward in-between point.
And making that change isn't simple.
Once I did realize, everything from my whole childhood past, teenage years clicked.
Eli paid thousands of dollars for surgery, went before a judge to officially change his identity, and worked with the state to create new legal paperwork, paving the way for people wanting to transition in the future.
The word transgender is actually an umbrella term. It covers a lot of different areas for people who identify as a different gender than what they were assigned at birth. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a sex change operation to be considered transgender.
It's difficult for anyone to come out as LGB, and then when you get to the T, it's even more difficult.
That's because other terms under that T umbrella include androgynous, transsexual, bigender, and genderqueer. Joanne Benjamin founded the Yes Alliance in Harrisonburg, a support group for Valley youth who identify as transgender.
In local schools, we do hear stories of local youth who identify LGBT and transgender in specific who have faced bullying at school.
Bullying being one reason Valley transgender teens or their parents would not speak with us on camera. Here are two of the comments we received upon asking for an interview. Quote, "I do not believe that exposing myself and my partner to the general public would be a good thing right now. And most of the people I know personally who are transgender and live in the area are very private about the fact that they are trans and are not out in their day-to-day life. They're just known to coworkers and peers as male or female and may not want to be put in the spotlight for being transgender." People who identify as trans are 28% more likely to experience physical violence than those who are not transgender. Just last month, a 15-year-old transgender teen was attacked in D.C. It's this violence that's always on Eli's mind.
I'm very, very fortunate, and that is not the story for the majority of transgender people, unfortunately.
Fortunately, there is help available in the Valley, not only for young people.
We have more parents who are dealing with a transgender son or daughter who are coming to the meetings for just mutual support.
Mark Mitchell leads a local group that educates parents, friends, and families of those who have transgender loved ones. It's called PFLAG and helps families from across the Valley.
It's a way to sit in a room and have a discussion that's going to be held confidential.
And confidentiality is important to many, considering how vulnerable the transgender population still is in Virginia.
It's legal for me to be fired or not hired for being transgender.
Something he, Mark, and Joanne are all fighting to turn around. They've actually had some local success, too, after a change at JMU earlier this year.
We were thrilled to find out that they had included gender identity in the non-discrimination policy, so that will protect JMU employees from discrimination on the basis of gender identity.
Despite the progress, there's still a lot of teaching to do.
I'm glad to be able to make it easier for those to come after me.
Something all these leaders are working hard in our community to do.
And of course, there are resources available on our website, WHSV.com/only on WHSV. There you can find the extended interview that I had with Eli and other resources available to friends and family.